This is Abe Friedtanzer from Awards Radar, and I'm so thrilled to be speaking with some of the cast of The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. How are you all doing today?
Hey, Abe.
Good.
All good,
How are
thanks.
you? Thank you.
Good, good. I'm wondering if you could tell me what your relationship was like growing up with The Lord of the Rings, the books and the movies, etc.
Starting as the oldest fellow here, that was the Hobbit when I was about 11. I had the paperback with one of Tolkien's drawings of Smaug on it, which is a beautiful drawing. Which ironically, Tolkien thought he was a terrible drawer, but it's beautiful bit of cartoon work there. So yeah, that was me. That's the first time my imagination exploded with it, and then reading Lord of the Rings, watching a few of the movies, and then with this project, doing deep dives into all the literature surrounding it. So that's me.
Yeah, I wasn't allowed to watch them when I was a kid, but everyone in my neighborhood had. So I had sort of the oral history of the movies in my head for a while. And then when I was 10, my school did a musical production of The Hobbit, and I played Bomber the Dwarf. And yeah,
So want to see that.
yes, I have photos.
Do you?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, but there was a really like surface level understanding. I certainly with this job and having lived more life, I think coming back to the work with this job has been a real gift.
My mother introduced me to the books. She was a huge fan. They were in the house as long as I can remember. I also am a New Zealander. I grew up in Wellington. So when I was in primary school, Peter Jackson was making the original trilogy. Everyone knew somebody who was working on it. It was in the air. It seemed massive. Then it came out and it was in fact massive. There was a huge amount of national pride around those films, and there still is. And then when I was in drama school in Wellington at Te Tuiwhekari o Aotearoa, I was still around it because they were making The Hobbit then. So you'd run into people working on that trilogy. But I never saw myself being useful in a Tolkien context. I couldn't work out what I could contribute. And then this character came along and this new story. And it's been a surreal privilege to get on board.
I kind of grew up watching the movies, and that I fell in love with the characters, and then kind of seeing my brother play Battle for Middle-earth on PC back in the day, just kind of, again, my love for the characters and for all the realms and the worlds. I just love, I couldn't get off the computer playing it. And I'm not even a video gamer, which is the random thing, but for some reason that game just, unlocked my heart.
I like the fact, Maxim, that you're playing a sailor, because I remember watching you in years and years, which is like, a very different kind of world explorer, obviously different in many ways than Middle Earth. But what is it like to, to sort of get to know that culture of traveling and exploring the waters that way?
Yeah, we did a little bit of training for it as well. We actually had to go out and learn how to sail a ship. I'm not very good on the water, though. I get very seasick. So I had to take some pills for that. But I guess learning new skills for a job is always really useful, especially if we actually have to use it at work. So it gives you a sense of satisfaction and internal growth. And the character that I'm playing is lost and trying to find himself. So, through also being in New Zealand and uncharted territories, I also found myself through kind of honing down the skills that I was learning. So I kind of channeled that into my portrayal of Isildur, who's completely lost in the first season. He doesn't really know what he wants, but he knows that maybe the answers aren't right in front of him.
And I'm sure that the finished product that we're seeing on TV is remarkably different from the filming experience. Can you each just share the most sort of striking either visual effect or just whatever the shot that you knew wasn't going to look like what the finished product would be?
Oh, that's an interesting question.
Wasn't going to look like.
Whatever the experience you had filming that then was going to be digitized and created to look different for the audience.
Oh, that's what's so fascinating, though, is because I like you, I assumed that's what it was going to be, like just standing, but with a green screen behind me, and I don't think I stood behind one green screen. They actually made stuff. We're either using the physical geography of New Zealand, to create the island of Numenor for the first time. I remember doing that scene where I'm riding with Galadriel on 2 horses on the beach, and one of the showrunners just said to me, "This is the moment we show the physical geography of Numenor for the first time ever on celluloid." But then to arrive in the capital city of Numenor, which we all worked on, this extraordinary set that they built over 6 months, and just the attention to detail, the dedication, hard work, love, research that had gone into making that place was amazing. You know, like from the ground up, they built a city and they'd layered in years and years and centuries of history into the fabric of it. And yeah, I mean, well, Emma can speak to one detail that you noticed about.
Oh yeah, well, I spent a lot of time with Daniel Reeve learning how to write Adonaic because he created it for the show. And I remember the first time I went on set, we walked by this little alleyway, and there was Numenorian graffiti, Adonaic graffiti over Old Elvish, which is like.
And that's an alleyway that may
Beautiful.
never have been used.
Yeah,
right?
it might never be used. Yeah.
But that's the attention to detail. So yeah, and we had a canal, didn't they? They had a canal in the town
With
with a
algae,
harbour.
algae.
Yeah, with algae in the canal. Yeah. So bird poop. Thank you. So we.
It was a bird poop man. He had a specific role.
Yeah, there we are. But yeah, so surprisingly, it wasn't about.
Practical.
But obviously, you know, they've done amazing work building in the CGI around that. So when we saw episode 3, that was
Numenor
stunning.
was still surprising.
Yeah,
though, when we saw it,
it was. Yeah.
Wonderful. It's great to hear. Thank you all so much for taking a few minutes to speak with me, and good luck with the rest of the show.